Good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining us. Welcome to our 13th Community Advisory Meeting for the Long Branch area. We are recording this meeting, and it will be posted to our website, purplelinemd.com, along with all of the supporting Q&A answers after we get through the meeting. Again, we just please ask that you keep your microphones muted and your cameras off during the presentation, and please hold all questions until after the presentation during the Q&A session. We also ask that you limit your question and comments to 1 minute so that we can fit everybody in, and if for some reason we're not able to get to your question, we will include it in the Q&A and answer it. And for those that would like a live Spanish translation, the Teams format can translate the meeting live. And instructions for how to turn on that translation function is going to be placed in the chat, and our community liaison, Stephanie Villegas, will explain those introductions, and they're being put in the chat now. Stephanie?
Buenas tardes y bienvenidos. En la aplicación Teams puede traducir esta reunión en vivo en varios idiomas, incluyendo español, árabe, chino, francés y portugués, y mucho más. Las instrucciones para las traducciones en vivo están en la sección de chat. Gracias. Back to you.
Thank you, Stephanie. Okay, well, let's get started. Let's see the next slide. Okay, so tonight we're going to do our staff introductions. You're going to see a project status video. We'll do our construction update, looking at the work we've completed since the last CAP meetings, progress photos, and upcoming work over the next 6 months. We'll talk community engagements, and then we'll get to the Q&A session. Tonight, you're going to hear from Ray Biggs II, our Senior Project Director with MTA. Doran Basso, our CEO with Purple Line Transit Partners. And if we can just ask that you guys put your microphones on mute. I'm hearing a little bit of background noise. Please and thank you. And we'll also see Hugo Fonteras, our project executive from MTS, myself, Carla Julian, Soren Serkasoon, who's our design build systems manager, Iago Pernas, who is our construction segment lead in this area, Scott Glass, who's our area manager, and Julio Velez, our construction manager. Stations we're going to focus on tonight are Manchester Place Station, the Long Branch Station, and Piney Branch Road Station. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ray Biggs to introduce our fall progress video.
Thank you, Carla. We are so excited to have you all here tonight for our CAP meeting here for the Long Branch area. We had much progress over the summer, especially in particular in this area where we completed a lot of track installation. So I won't keep you for any longer. So Chris, if you want to go ahead and let's play the fall progress video. Welcome to our Fall Progress Update video for 2024. We are here on Campus Drive at the University of Maryland, where we recently completed a lot of our summer construction work that completed the track installation all along Campus Drive. We are so excited that we have 5 light rail vehicles at our operations and maintenance facility, and we also completed 10 miles of track across the alignment. Did I also mention that we have over 17 miles of sidewalk that have been installed? Additionally, you can see the colorful canopies that are right behind me, and we have 19 stations that will be in construction by the end of this year. And we are so excited that we are moving forward, completing the momentum on the project, and continuing that going forward.
Crews have focused on many specific areas to minimize impacts and advance the project. In Prince George's County, crews prepare for track placement by establishing work zones in the center of University Boulevard. Traffic is shifted to the newly completed sections on either side of the road. At the University of Maryland, crews have successfully completed much of the heavy construction through the center of campus. This year, students arrived to find newly completed sidewalks, embedded tracks, paved roadways, and all lanes open on Campus Drive. Also in Prince George's County, crews opened 2 new roads, 64th Avenue and Mustang Drive. Both connect communities to Riverdale Road at signalized intersections. The flyover bridge from Kenilworth Avenue over East-West Highway has also been completed. Track crews completed the crossing of Rivertech Court and opened the road 3 weeks ahead of schedule. At the operations and maintenance facility, the new light rail vehicles are being prepared for testing.
I am honored and thrilled to stand here today at our operations and maintenance facility in front of this. Maryland, we have a train.
Good morning. I'm Holly Arnold, administrator of the MTA, and I am so thrilled to be here today to celebrate the arrival of the first of the Purple Line light rail vehicles. I want to do, a huge congratulations to the Purple Line team. This team does not sleep. They are working all the time to deliver the Purple Line for Maryland, and I'm so thankful and grateful for them.
These vehicles are 142 feet long. That's nearly half of a football field, almost twice the size of a metro vehicle, and will be the longest light rail in North America. It'll hold up to 430 passengers. There will be 8 bike racks on board, as well as 8 dedicated wheelchair spaces accessible near the doors. These electric-powered LRVs will reduce energy and carbon emissions, as well as being quieter than other modes of transportation.
Over the summer, we worked very closely with our partners at CSX, WMATA, Montgomery County Parks, and Montgomery County Schools to complete a lot of construction work and installing track all across the alignment.
In Montgomery County, the Purple Line has successfully placed both sets of tracks across the Wayne Avenue and Dale Drive intersection prior to the start of the school year. They have also installed the complex curved track at Piney Branch Road and University Boulevard, and fully opened the Talbot Avenue Bridge. At the Silver Spring Transit Center, the LRV bridge over Colesville Road and the foundations and superstructure for the new mezzanine are taking shape. Crews also started the work to build a new and improved Spring Street Bridge by completing the bridge demolition during the WMATA summer shutdown. Station construction can be seen across the whole alignment, with station after station taking shape. The highlight of the station construction is the installation of the first Art in Transit artwork element at the Campus Drive UMD station. The artists at Legg Lewis Legg added a beautiful display of color that changes throughout the day and is a shining example of things to come at the Purple Line.
Thank you again for your patience, and while we continue construction, we are going to keep the momentum up across the alignment, moving from laying track into the testing phase of the light rail vehicles across the alignment. We are so excited about the Purple Line, and we know you are too. Thank you. All right, thank you. You can take a look at that video, which is posted all across our social media to see all the progress that has happened over this past summer. Here is our project timeline, and the next milestone, as I mentioned at the end of that video, is really moving into that testing phase where we will begin the static and dynamic testing of the light rail vehicles that have started to arrive here in Maryland from Elmira, New York. We have 5 vehicles now at our operation and maintenance facility, as you can see in the bottom left corner there of your screen. And then moving from left to right, that second photo gives you a glimpse of what the overhead catenary system looks like along Veterans Parkway. I invite you to take a ride out there to really see what the Purple Line will look like, and gives you a glimpse of that test track of where the light rail vehicles will be operating. And then the last 2 vehicles give you some photos of all the work that we completed at University of Maryland over the summer, reopening Campus Drive back to the University of Maryland and allowing for that traffic movement. So now we'll just jump right into the construction updates and some upcoming activities, and I'll pass it over to Iago.
I'll take this portion now, Ray, and then I'll hand it over to Yago to give a quick update on the work that's been going on in the Manchester Place Station. So currently, we've been working inside of the portal. You can see here with the yellow waterproofing membrane on top of it. So we've recently completed all of the work placement for the portal. And now that portal will be backfilled. So we will continue building the retaining walls around it. And we'll also continue building all of the storm drain system that goes around this structure. So there'll be a lot of work happening around the portal and also inside of the station. We are working on the station outfitting. So with that, you will also soon see track being installed across the alignment in front of the portal in trying to get ready. So right now we've been completing all our utility work, and you'll see here starting the work, like I said before, on completing the retaining walls. Next slide, please. Inside of the station, we've been working hard getting all the station outfitted. So you can see photos from the inside of all the concrete placements on the station access, and also being able to work on the station platform. Those efforts will continue going on from now, basically through next summer, trying to get the station completely built out with all the utilities and station elements, including the roof installation over the Manchester station. Next slide. Inside of the tunnel, we've been working in outfitting the entire tunnel with all the utilities that'll be required to run the train system. So you can see photos here of all the electrical systems. We've also started, all you can see in this photo, the installation of rail. So one of the rails has been installed, and we will continue that rail installation progress here over the next several months. Once the rail is installed, we will then continue on with installing the ventilation system and all the systems required to operate the train system in the tunnel. Next slide. As soon as you exit the tunnel portal, which you can see a photo here on your right-hand side, we will begin the storm drain retention basin work, which you can see on the top of the photo. That will not get slated until late next summer, but that is an up-and-coming activity. We have completed the drainage on Arliss, and we will be starting to complete all the curb and sidewalks along Arliss between Garland and Flower Avenue. Next slide. As this is a photo of Arliss Avenue, we have begun doing work outside of the Flower Branch apartments and also within the Flower Branch apartments, installing a sand filter. That sand filter work is nearing completion, should be done between now and the end of the year. We've also begun installing track. As you can see, the curved section of track onto Arliss has been constructed, and those efforts of building track will continue towards the tunnel for the next several months. And also up and coming, it will be finalizing the reconstruction of Flower Branch Apartments parking lot, which is in progress. It's slated to continue for the next through the end of the year. And then that'll pave the way to then complete all the permanent curbs and sidewalks as the track is being completed. And then we'll also then come the new year, get ourselves preparatory works for beginning the road construction, the new road construction on Arliss. So here's a more detailed view showing the progress that occurred also in the recent months. We have now completed the walls for the Long Branch station, and currently right now we are doing the slab work on the station, and soon you will start seeing canopies being installed. You will also start seeing us continue with all the station outfitting and making it look like a final product here over the next quarter. And that's pretty much it on Arliss. Anything else? Let's see. As you make your run up to Piney, I'm going to turn it over to Yago so that he can explain all the work that's been happening on Piney Branch. Yago?
Hello, good evening. Thank you, Julio. Good evening, everyone. As Julio said, last spring, sorry, we have been able to complete the track at the intersection between Arlis and Piney Branch, that curve section over there. At the same time, we have been able to complete all the stormwater systems and all the curb and new sidewalks in both sides of Piney Branch. This basically allows us to start or to continue the installation of the track. We are moving all the way north from Arlis to University Boulevard. At the same time, we started the entrance to the Long Branch Community Center, and we have been able also to complete all the duct bank and all the OCS foundations we have in this area. More recently, almost a week and a half ago, we have been able also to complete Garland Avenue intersection, and this intersection is right now open to the traffic. Okay. In this picture, you can see the progress. You can see the track being installed from Arlis all the way up to University Boulevard, and this is pretty much the work we're gonna be doing for the next weeks and months. Right now, we have closed the intersection between Barron and Piney Branch. We are installing the track over there, and the plan is to have that intersection fully open by early November. At the same time, we would like to complete the new entrance to the Long Branch Community Center and also complete the stream restoration of Long Branch. Of MOT phases or big traffic changes, as mentioned before, on October 1st, we reopen Garland Avenue and we close Barron Street. This means that we are not allowing for a month the left movements coming from Barron to Piney Branch southbound.
Thank you, Yago.
Okay. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Seren, Circus and Systems Manager. I want to spend a few minutes talking about a very exciting milestone on our project, the test track. Next slide, please. So as you can see, the test track is located along parallel to Highway 410 between Annapolis Road and Riverdale Road. It's about a mile long, and it's adjacent to our main operations and maintenance facility at Glenridge. And so the test track will be utilized for dynamic or running tests of the light rail vehicles. And of course, we'll focus on proof of design and proving out that the systems and the interfaces are functional and safe. Just to get more into the purpose of the test track, and you can see on your screen the tracks and the overhead catenary system, and of course all of the systems under the test track that no one really gets to see. And then the trains are in the facility here that I'm pointing with my cursor. We'll start off with some of the more basic tests on the test track, braking and propulsion of the trains. And then we'll move into some of the safety systems, the automatic vehicle location systems, There are going to be antennas mounted on these poles and connected to the control center, which is actually housed in the OCC or housed in the O&M facility at Glen Ridge. And so we'll be able to track exact locations of where the trains are at any given time. We also have passenger safety systems on the trains that eventually we'll be testing on this test track. The passenger emergency intercom, so that if passengers in distress or there's some sort of event or emergency, they can communicate with the train operator and with the control center. The test track will also serve as a training ground for our LRV operators. Many of our operators have already been trained, and they'll continue their training on the test track. We've also trained our first responders in the area, police and fire departments, and so we're very well equipped to get into operation with the test track. Safety, of course, is first and foremost for utilization of our test track. As I mentioned earlier, we are stopping short of Annapolis as well as Riverdale, so there are no road crossings, and we will be employing a state-of-the-art overrun protection system to ensure that our trains stop, short of the of fouling the test track. Next one, please. The status of where we are, as Ray mentioned earlier, we have 5 LRVs delivered and in the OMF facility. We've been conducting what are called static tests of these trains to prove out their functions and their safety features without running them on the test track. So this level of testing is already completed. And of course, we've got more trains coming later this year. The tracks, as you saw earlier from the first slide, have been fully built and tamped. The inspection and testing process is in place. Of course, we've got to fully test the test track before we can use it to test the trains, and that's the phase that we're in right now. The traction power substation that feeds the overhead catenary to power the trains on the test track is complete and fully tested. We are working on completing the cable runs from the traction power substation to the overhead catenary system. The overhead catenary system, again, has been fully built out, as you saw in the picture earlier, and we are also in the phase of testing that system to get it ready for use on the test track. Next. Safety first. The test track was strategically located in a dedicated section of the alignment. It's also located just alongside the maintenance facility. So safety, of course, is always first and foremost in everything that we do on a project, including testing of trains. Things to note for the general public, there is no public access to the test track. Obviously the trains that are in use are not for passenger use. They're solely for testing of the systems on the track as well as on the train. And I mentioned earlier, we are working with our train control provider to implement a state-of-the-art overrun protection system so that the trains will remain in proximity of the test track, and there is minimal chance of fouling into the intersections or anything beyond the track on the west side. And essentially the test track is a culmination of years of pre-testing of many of the systems that we're going to be employing on the project. And it's essentially where things come together and where we get to see how the trains react with all the systems that are interfaced with them. And that is it for my short description of the test track. I'm going to pass it back to Carla to go over some community engagement items. Carla?
Thanks, Saran. Next slide. So our team is out in the community. You can find us at places like the Long Branch Festival and the Crossroads Farmers Market. I think I saw Omar on. Nice to see you, Omar. We do enjoy being out there and getting questions from you guys and supporting community where we do have so many construction impacts. You can always reach us at outreach@purplelinemd.com, as well as the English and Spanish hotline. So we do encourage you to reach out with those questions. Next slide. I'll turn it over to Doran to speak on bike, scooter, and skateboard safety.
Okay, thanks, Carla. Well, you heard a lot of safety from Surin earlier about our test track and our LRVs, but of course, we want everyone traveling in and around the Purple Line tracks to be safe, which is why I'm here to deliver a little message on bike, scooter, and skateboard safety. Those with kind of smaller, thinner wheels have to be careful when crossing the tracks as we put more and more tracks in the Long Branch area and throughout the alignment. Please be cognizant of the best way to cross is perpendicular to the tracks so that you don't accidentally get a wheel caught in. So please use the crosswalks, cross at a right angle. And in larger vehicles as well, like cars and trucks, as we get some wintry weather, just also be extra careful around those rails as they can get slick. If we could go to the next slide. I'm always happy to join and talk about something that is really just so fulfilling for the Purple Line team, and that's the Beyond the Rails Community Grants program, where we award additional funds to nonprofit groups along the alignment doing great work every day. We really enjoyed visiting the award winners from this summer. We announced 6 grant award winners, and you can see there SEEC, Seeking Education, Equality, and Community for those with disabilities. That was great. Interfaith Food Pantry is another one that stands out as just a really special place and a great place to visit. So we're putting out the call now to the next round of 6 grants that we'll be awarding. So the deadline for applications is November 30th. So you still have another month and a half to get an application in by visiting our website. It's a pretty short application process. If you have any questions or need help applying, or questions if you qualify, you can email grants@purplelinepartners.com. And more information is on the website, which Ray will talk about shortly. So we can go to the next slide, and I'll hand it over.
All right, thank you, Doran. It's always great to see all those grants that were given out to the community. One thing we wanted to emphasize tonight to bring to your attention is the Purple Line website. Over the summer, if you missed it, we did a refresh of the website. Here, as you can see on your screen, you see both the layout on your computer and then also the mobile application. One of the features that I do want to bring your attention to is that yellow square or rectangle that you see on the website. About the construction updates and detours. I know we get a lot of questions about how do I get around the construction that's happening on the Purple Line. Well, we've made some modifications where you can actually go and look at the map, and it puts all the detours along the map that you can click on to get those details. Additionally, if we go to the next slide, you can always reach out to us at outreach@purplelinemd.com. For any questions, send those in, and our outreach team will respond promptly to any questions that come in. We also encourage the media to send any questions that they may have at media@purplelinemd.com. And if not email, give us a call, and we'll have someone answer the call and talk to you on the phone and answer and respond to any questions you may have there. Other ways that you can find out more information about what's happening along the Purple Line and learning about the Purple Line as we get closer and closer to the operations period. It's across our social media platforms by following us at Purple Line MD. And we are across all 4 at Facebook, X, YouTube, and Instagram. So choose one or choose all 4 and be sure that you're in the know on what's going on the Purple Line. So I'll turn it over to Carla. So we begin the next part of tonight's meeting.
Excellent. Okay, so if you have questions, you can raise your hand on the right side, or you can also put questions in chat. So I'm going to start with the questions that we have in chat, and then we'll move to those who raise their hand. We have a question from Jessica. Would you please discuss where pedestrians can cross the tracks near stations and where cars can turn off of University and off of Piney to access Rolling Terrace?
Iago, did you want to jump in,
No,
or I
it looks like
can
we've
try
already
to
got
take it?
looks like we've already got some questions here too.
Okay.
Sure.
Some answers, but yeah, Iago, if you want to follow up on that to add a little more, that'd be great.
Yeah. So 2 answers, okay. The first one, during construction, unfortunately, we need to have most of the intersections closed with concrete barricades following the approved plans. However, we have a left turn allow in Merrimack Drive. Okay, this is pretty much in between Tacoma, Langley, and Piney Branch. This is for both eastbound and westbound. For the eastbound, we also have Lebanon as an alternative to do left turns. In permanent configuration, we are gonna have obviously more options to cross the track. Specifically, we are gonna have between Piney and New Hampshire, we're gonna have Sick Lane, we're gonna have Carroll, we're gonna have Merrimack, we're gonna have Lebanon, we're gonna have West Shopping Center, and we're gonna have Transit Center as well. In terms of pedestrians, all these signalized intersections are bringing also signalized crosswalks. So we are going to provide multiple crosswalks within the alignment. And specifically in this area next to Piney Branch station, we are going to have signalized crosswalks in the 4 legs of the intersection.
Thank you, Iago. Our next question is looking for clarity on when will Arliss Street open to traffic? Julio, I don't know if you want to provide.
Yep.
Oh yeah, thanks.
I can take that one. Obviously, right now, it's definitely not slated to occur over the next 6 months. So we will definitely give you a more accurate answer at our next CAP meeting. But right now, it's probably going to be more towards later in 25, third quarter of 25.
Thank you. Okay, and the next question is more of a statement. No left turn on University Boulevard between Langley Park and Piney Branch is really painful. Such a big loop to come back home to access RTES neighborhood. It would be great to have at least one opening. Thanks.
All right, Carla, do you want to? Oh, go
I
ahead.
can take this one again. Yeah. I believe Merrimack is a good alternative here. This is providing left turns in both directions, eastbound and westbound.
All right, Carla, you want to jump to some of the hands now? I can see Joel has his hands up, and we have a couple people that have raised their hands virtually. So let's jump to Joel first and then the virtual hands. So Joel, unmute yourself.
Good evening. Unfortunately, I had a little difficult time to get on, but I finally got on. I looked at those stations. There's only one entrance from that main avenue. I didn't see the Plymouth entrance. I want to know, maybe they didn't have, maybe they couldn't do it. I don't know. Anyway, some other questions. If there are any And I did see the plan for the station, and they did have the overhead wires, but I don't know if they haven't installed them yet. I haven't even been over there for a long time. And the bus routes on that area, Flower Avenue and Piney Branch Road and Main Avenue. I guess they answered the question before, so that's good. Hopefully they don't have no conflict or any problem with the bus service. Maybe they have to relocate them when the purple line comes in. And hopefully next meeting have this problem again. Last meeting I was right on time, 15 minutes early to make sure everything works out okay. So
All good.
that's
You're
all
on
I
time
have to
tonight,
say.
Joel.
Thanks
Oh, I'm gonna
again
have
for answering
Julio
the
come on to try to answer your questions about when the overhead wires will start to go in. I believe you're talking about along Wayne Avenue in that area. Do we have an estimate, Julio, on when those wires will start to come in?
Yeah, the wire runs won't come in until we've completed all our track installation on Wayne Avenue. So that actually will not take place until pretty much the end of 25, beginning of 26, as we are waiting to ensure that all construction work, major construction work, is being wrapped up before we put up any catenary system wire up.
Appreciate that, Julio. And Joel, on your question about the buses and the routes changing, as Montgomery County mentioned, and Prince George's County has mentioned, we're working very closely with them and with WMATA, and they're making the necessary changes so that once we go into operations, everything will work smoothly across all the different public transportations.
Yeah, another question. How about the fare structure? They haven't gotten that set up yet. Because I know if I go to the Flash bus stop in White Oak Shopping Center, they have the blue boxes. Would that be the same thing?
Got you. I was waiting for you to ask this question, Joel. Remember last set of CAT meetings, I promised I would have some answers for you. I have a little bit more to share with you, and that is that we will be interoperable between WMATA, so you'll be able to use your fare between systems. So we're making it as easy as possible, where you can use the Charm card or the Smart Trip card, but more details on how things will work between all the systems are still being worked out, and the fare prices have not been set yet. It says that has to go through a whole process of approvals. But I can tell you that over the last 6 months, we have been having those conversations and working through the process to get that pretty much set up. And as we get closer to more details on the fares, we will incorporate that into the presentations for the CAP meetings to explain, because that's a very important thing, is understanding how you'll pay to be able to get onto the systems and transfer to the other systems.
Thanks for answering my question.
All right, thank you, Joel. All right, we'll jump to some of the virtual hands now. I'm just going to go in order of what I see here. Forston Street, I believe.
Hi, yes. This question has been asked, but it hasn't been properly answered. I live in the Rolling Terrace neighborhood on Forston Street. My neighborhood is basically kind of incastrated. We have Piney Branch to the north. We have University to the east. Forston Street is the other street that is the end of that neighborhood. And then we have Long Branch Creek to the east, to the west. So when we are asking about left turns coming out from Barron, Bayfield, and Sick. We cannot make any left turns on those. So for us to go out or come back is a huge turnaround. Merrimack does not work for us because we don't have access. I cannot, from Forston Street, I cannot even go to Carroll Avenue because there is a huge school in between. So it would be great if when you're blocking, you coordinate that there is at least one left open to our neighborhood. I hope I visually kind of explain how we are blocked around. Thank you.
I appreciate that, Forston. Can you, Iago, maybe explain a little bit? I'm looking at my other screen as I have the map up and I was following what you were saying. But I don't know if you want to jump in, Iago.
Yeah, sure. Forston is in between Sick Lane and Carroll Avenue. And unfortunately, right now, we are demolishing the median to be able to prep the works for the rail installation. I understand the impacts, and I feel everything you are saying, but unfortunately, there is no way to provide there a left turn right now. But the crews are actively working on prepping the area for the track and having the track guys there before the end of the year. As soon as we have the track, we are gonna be able to schedule the reopening of the left lane at Sick Lane. But
Well, if you could at least prioritize to open Barron or open one of the two exits onto University, then that would be great because the three of them are blocked for us. And we have a school. My son takes a bus and he has to go around. I mean, they have to do a big loop to be able to make it to the Silver Spring Middle School downtown because there's also construction going around there. So it is affecting us a lot because we are blocked. I mean, I get stressed trying to get out and go do food shopping because of the loop I have to make, especially during rush hour. So if you can prioritize to open one of those three left turns, that would be great.
Definitely, I totally agree. We close Barron Street on October 2nd after opening Garland, and we close Barron Street with the commitment of having it open again within a month. Everything is running as a schedule, so our commitment is to reopen Barron by early November.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. I will jump to the next question, then we'll go to some of the questions in the chat that haven't been addressed. So Omar, if you can unmute yourself.
Hi, everyone. I appreciate the time. I appreciate the space to speak. And so I'm coming from as a parent at Rolling Terrace Middle School or elementary school. My son's in first grade. It's in his third year at school there. I'm the PTA president, so I can speak for a number of parents, number of staff. And I'm also I also happen to be the manager for Crossroads Farmers Market, which is right on University Boulevard, right at the doorstep of Purple Line Construction. So, you know, what I definitely want to double the feelings about Barron Street. I think the fact that we have a school with so many buses going in and out of a neighborhood that can't make a left turn, I think that's pretty ridiculous. I think, you know, it's not just the individual cars that are trying to drop off kids, but these buses, seeing them have to make the extra effort, spend the extra time. I just, you know, at this point, everything's being worked on, and I know you're not going to magically fix that street tomorrow. But it's just, I don't know how familiar we've gotten with the neighborhoods, because you're mentioning Garland, but Garland is on the other side of the creek where there's no road that crosses that creek. So if you have, say if you're on Garland or heading toward or anything that way towards Flower Avenue, you have to go to Piney Branch if you're dropping off your child at Rolling Terrace. You have to access Barron. And so we can get there right now, but when you're leaving to go back home, you have to make that loop. And also, knowing neighbors in the neighborhood, that's just a tough one, And I know voices have been, been sharing words about what that's looking like, and I don't know if there's much attention being paid to that, or it's just kind of like, hey, we're just gonna do this work, get it done, and be out the way. But I don't know if the consideration is really being felt by the community of the schools and its needs. We have a lot of kids in Tacoma Park that take bicycles to school, that walk to school. It's created a bit of chaos. If you're ever in that area, I know y'all are, but if you're ever in that area during drop off and pickup, it's very chaotic. And I can't imagine being a kid trying to get to school on your own through all that. On University Boulevard, it's just as bad. There's some parts of University Boulevard as you head closer to Langley Park, there's no crosswalk, or there's no clear crosswalk painted on the road. And so I just, I guess I want to share these concerns. I'm not sure what.
May have lost audio.
It'll be done soon. And so the other thing I also want to share is that it was a mention about the community grant for Purple Line, for folks affected by Purple Line. Crossroads Farmers Market applied for that grant. I believe our PTA applied for that grant as well, as impacted by the Purple Line. And we didn't get, neither of these organizations received anything. And we're right there on Purple Line where the construction is. So I don't know what kind of support is being provided that's accessible in the immediate, because we're having these issues right now. Hearing that there's 6 more grants every 3 grants every year, that's great. 6 every 3 rounds, but that's not helping anybody. I'm not saying it's not helping anybody, I'm sorry, but it's just very frustrating as a parent, as somebody who's managing this market. It just feels like certain things are being ignored, and yeah, I'll end it there.
Appreciate your comments and your questions. One thing that we definitely are not ignoring you. We'll take all of this back and work with SHA and see what other things we can do. Just hearing how it's affecting the neighborhoods and all of that, and see what we may be able to make some changes if we can. And I know that Iago is working very hard and pushing the team to finish as quickly as possible. But in the interim, in the immediate, as you were pointing out, we'll work to see what we can do to lessen the impact that we're having on the community. Iago, I don't know if you had anything else to add to how the traffic patterns are in the area right now.
No, unfortunately, we understand what Omar is saying. We understand that the impact of having Barron Street closed is huge, and that's why we have crews there working extended hours, working all the weekends to try to expedite the construction of the track there. As you can see, the progress is being huge. In less than 10 days, we already demoed the existing road. We set the rail, we form, and we are planning to pour this track anytime next week. So it's difficult to ask for that, but just be patient for 2-3 more weeks, and because we are doing our best to reopen Barron as soon as possible. Okay.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, if there could be more, I don't know if there could be more communication or more resources shared, especially with the school. I mean, we have around 500 students coming to Rolling Terrace. And we're not the only school I know that's being impacted by this Purple Line construction, or even a school that has it the closest. And so if you could really just, I don't know, give it a bit more effort, get a bit more input here in our schools and from the parents especially. I'm surprised nobody's said anything at the bus from the buses. You know, I don't know how it works, but I know these buses are having to figure things out, and sometimes that leads to driving not being as good as it could be. But then the other thing I want to throw in there in here is that there was a mention about bicycles and wheels on the tracks once, you know, it's operating and folks are driving. I grew up in DC. I was working in Northeast when the H Street streetcar was opened up, and I remember getting my tires caught in that track. And I was somebody who used to ride my bike to work, to school, to everything. You know, and so outside of saying, hey, be careful, do we have like signage, strategic signage? You know, are there little barriers or something that can be put up or something to help protect with bicycles? Because we are a community that bikes a lot. There's a lot of bicycle use in our community. And so that concerns me, because I know folks have gotten their tires caught in those tracks on H Street in Northeast. Folks have lost their life. It's happened. And, you know, I just think of the kids.
Yes, to answer your question, we definitely have the information that's going out in across the line. We have some signage that we'll be talking to it as we complete tracking areas that intersect where the bicycle, scooters, and all of that will intersect with the track. And we'll also have more messaging and communications directly with the communities on the safety campaigns, on providing more information about the system and how to interact, because we recognize that the light rail outside of the H Street streetcar, which is actually close to me, there's no light rail down here or with overhead catenary systems in the DMV area. So you'll definitely see some more happening on that piece, and more signage and things going out. Doran, I don't know if you wanted to come back. I don't want to miss the other part of your question, Omar, that you had to talk on the grants piece.
Yeah, I mean, I can just respond. I recall it. Yeah, I see those applications. You know, I was just in checking what we received. We can roll those forward into this grant with this, you know, this next batch without a new application. So we hear about the impact. Again, that's without reviewing the actual application, what it's for, but we'll certainly apply our criteria and keep in mind the impacts in this community and those two applicants.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And you know, I don't want any special treatment for our two applications. It is what it is, but we find ourselves being a bit frustrated that, you know, I find myself in a unique place where I'm seeing the farmers market being directly impacted by the Purple Line construction every week, you know, all season. And we didn't fit a criteria of a community organization being affected by Purple Line. And then coming into PTA, coming into the role of president this year, trying to connect all the parents as much as possible to PTA and the activities, you know, to hear that we also didn't fit that criteria, it's kind of confusing. And it also makes me be like, why are we even having to apply for this? Like, what are we proving? We're right here at the doorstep being affected right now. Right. What are we having to prove?
Can we get to some other questions in the chat, please?
Yeah, go ahead. Thank you. You've shared plenty of time for me. Thank you.
Thank you for your questions, Omar. I'll turn it over to Carla to go through the questions in the chat.
We have a question, which I think is going to go to Julio. They're looking for a little more explanation on what's the construction happening at Sligo Creek.
Sure. The construction happening on Sligo Creek right now is we have shut down the parkway to allow for track construction to cross the parkway. And those efforts will be going on between now and November 18th. Our goal right now is around November 18th to the 21st, late November, to be able to open up the parkway again. In conjunction with the track installation across the parkway, we're also working on the bridge deck. So if you've been around there lately, we have been able to complete the abutment work. We've now set the precast girders, and now we're going to be making preparations to actually get that concrete deck poured over that bridge also between now and the end of November. That's the bulk of the work happening right now on Wayne Avenue bridge over Sligo.
Awesome. Julio, while we have you there too, we also have a scheduled question on the work for the top part of Manchester Place Station.
Sure. The work as you guys know, right outside Manchester Station down towards Manchester Place Road, we have been working diligently on trying to complete all the underground work. So the bulk of the work that's been happening is new water line reconstruction work, and also drainage work, and that'll be going on through the end of the year. In conjunction with all that utility underground work, there's also wall construction that's happening that will allow the widening of the road to accommodate for the track installation. So our goal right now is to complete all of the drainage, all of the utility work, and that wall work between now and the first quarter of 25, which then will pave the way for us to install track from Sligo Parkway uphill towards Manchester Place Station between now and next summer.
Thank you, Julio. I see some questions about the Purple Line website and bilingual in Spanish and Amharic. MTA, I think you can put those details in the chat so we can move on. I see some additional questions about the left at Seek. We will formally answer those questions too. I think we've been through the schedule there as well. We have a statement about a safe way to cross at Piney Branch between Garland Avenue and Barron Street, leading into Rolling Terrace Elementary School. I think we've touched on some of that as well. Definitely happy to work with the PTA and share some additional information as well. So we'll take that back. If Omar and others from the PTA want to reach out to us at outreach@Purple Line MD, we can certainly set a meeting up with you guys and share more information and come out and spend some time with you guys. Happy to do that. The library is really challenging. We're looking forward to the Arla Street reopening, so we are looking forward to that too. So we're working that schedule. Let's see. From Annie Talkin, many of our neighbors along Flower are complaining of the Purple Line construction vehicles using Flower when they're not allowed to. Apparently, signage that used to be up on University and Franklin and Flower and East Wayne that told Purple Line contractors not to use Flower have been removed. Can we provide an update on that? Can the signs be replaced? Where and how can people report these issues? I can speak to this. We do get those complaints a lot. As you guys know, Flower is a county road, and I know the county has signs as well. We have put signs up. We can look and see if our signs have been removed, if we can put additional ones up. Just so that you guys are aware, with all of our subcontractors that do trucking, we have specified haul routes that are contractually required for them to follow. Individual drivers sometimes choose not to do that, and they follow exactly where their GPS tells them to go. We do ask when people send those complaints, sometimes they're able to get pictures of the trucks. If we can verify that they are coming to the Purple Line, we call the trucking company. We have removed drivers that do not follow the specified haul routes. A lot of trucks that are using Flower are not coming to the Purple Line. They're going all over Montgomery County. So, without local enforcement there, it's hard for us at the Purple Line to do that. We are taking steps from our team to enforce that when we can prove that they are coming to the Purple Line. So we do take that seriously. We work with our contracts team. Project leadership makes those calls daily. Iago, his team, Ricardo, we do stay on top of that. We investigate every single one of those complaints that come in. So, Annie, I would send people to outreach at Purple Line MD or call the hotline. We do see those daily and are working with our construction team to enforce them when we can prove that they're coming to our site. When will Piney Branch and Barron Center of the intersection reopen? I think Iago touched on that one. And more on Seek Lane left. Let's see. Will Arliss be opened all at once, or could it be partially opened sooner? For example, opening the east-west running portion that allows library access from Flower, even if the portion just around the bend from the library down to Piney Branch still needed to be closed. Julio, I know we have a lot of restrictions there. I don't know if you can speak to why we can't do that.
Yeah, that's something we can take back. One of the things that actually is probably the biggest roadblock on that request is that, as you guys know, on the corner of we have that a big operation where we double handle our material being excavated by that future swim structure on the corner of Flower and Arliss. And because that's such an active driveway for construction vehicles to be loaded with all the materials coming from the segment, it makes it very difficult to open it to the traffic, as they will be right in the middle of our construction work zone. So it's something we can take back and evaluate. But right now, until a lot of the work in segment 3 on Wayne Avenue is coming to a resolution, we need that road for our construction vehicles.
Thanks, Julio. Looks like we're looking for a little more detail at Manchester Place Station 2 at the very top where the elevator will be, Julio. I don't know if you can speak to when we're going to get to that point.
Yeah, there is quite a bit of drainage still remaining on that top. Actually, it's under redesign right now, as there's some conflicts that we're working our way through. So we're working with WSSC on trying to get our designs approved. Once those designs are approved, we will be able to resume our works and complete the drainage around Manchester Place. This is part of segment 4, and the only drainage remaining in segment 4 is exactly this that we're talking about right now. And we are hopeful that we should be able to resume those operations before the year's out.
Thank you. I see a lot more feedback from PTA and parents in the area. We'll absolutely have a meeting with you guys, and we understand the impacts. There's several schools along the alignment that have similar impacts, so we're really just trying to expedite our schedule and work through everything that's got to be put in place so we can get out of the way as quickly as possible, but definitely understand that. So we'll work with you guys to meet and share as much information and work with you guys closely. That's all I see in chat right now. I don't know if anybody else has their hand up right now, Ray, that
I see Forston Street, the individual under that name still has their hands up. Do you have any more questions?
Yes, just to ask 2 things before the meeting concludes is, can you please fix the roads along the construction of the Purple Line? The heavy trucks, the new traffic patterns, the works that are being carried out, there are a lot of potholes. There is a lot of damage going on, and it affects the cyclists and it affects drivers in our neighborhood. And the other one, if you can just include a map of the neighborhood in your next PowerPoint presentation, so when we are having any concerns being addressed, you can visually see what we're talking about, so we also can see that and be sure that you're understanding what our frustrations are. Thank you.
Thank you for that. That's some good feedback for us in the next CAP meetings that we have. If we can go back to the previous slide, just wanted to make sure everyone had all of this contact information. So we've heard a lot of questions and some comments, and one of the questions was, how do we alert the Purple Line to anything? And we have both the email and the telephone that you can call us at, where we will promptly respond back and try to address any questions or concerns that come in. I don't see any other hands up, Carla. I'm not sure if anything else has come into chat.
I don't see anything else right now, unless does anybody else have any additional questions that you'd like to put in chat or raise your hand and ask?
Joel has his hand up. So over to you, Joel.
Yes, I did mention that Lanesville station, not too far from the I'm looking at government and federal government, and they have these program called the Metro Benefits, and when I get that information and how much it is, I just add it to my Metro Benefits. Now, I don't have to pay the fare. The employer pays for it. So I have to do this every year. We can't pronounce what that word is, but I have the update every year. I put the cost in, see when I get on and when I get off and the fare, and I add it onto the Metro Benefits, and then they would pay. I do it every month, the first of the month. So I don't know if that can, for the fare and for the regular fare and the Metro Benefits. That's my question. And thanks in advance, and you have a good evening.
All right, I'll attempt to answer, Joel, but from my understanding, whatever benefits you're getting for the Smart Trip card will fund your fare that you currently have now. And because we are working to make sure that both the system can take Smart Trip and the Charm card and other passes, you'll be able to use those same benefits, because you'll be able to use the same fare that you use currently to make it as seamless as possible for you between the public transportation systems.
Thanks for answering my question.
You're welcome. And I see Greg Sanders has posted the link directly to the plans that show a little bit of the layout of what the Purple Line will look like. And yes, I recognize, Greg, that's not the same question that Forston Street was raising, but we will be sure to incorporate that into our presentations going forward to make sure that we can have a visual that talks to and aligns with the questions and concerns that are raised during the meeting. With that, I'll turn it back over to Carla.
Okay, well, we greatly appreciate everybody joining us tonight and appreciate your time and your concerns. We look forward to working with you on those where we can, and everybody have a great night. And if you need to contact us, please see the attached slide, and we will be posting this presentation and the Q&A over the next days and weeks. Thank you. Have a great night.